The topic for today, SAP kernel upgrade. So we know how to apply the nodes and everything, but we also during the installation time we will download the kernel. That time whatever the kernel is there, we'll download it. But now we need to update that kernel to the latest SAP kernel upgrade or kernel patch. This is also one of the important topic here, SAP kernel upgrade here. So this activity is required the downtime. Downtime means we need to stop the SAP system and we need to do the kernel upgrade and start the SAP system after that here, right? So what are the steps we have to follow to perform the kernel upgrade here? The first of all, so we have to review the kernel kernel release note here. So then, so yeah, first of all, first point, what we have to do, we need to, we need to so confirm the target patch level. We need to fix the target patch level from what version to another version here. So check current kernel version here. Check the current kernel version in our systems using either we can go to the SM51. So in the release information or at operating system level, you can use the displace work command to check the current kernel version. So then, based on that, then so fix the means align the align the target kernel version. First of all, you need to check with the customer or your manager or lead from which version to which version, target kernel version, target. So kernel version, we need to align the target kernel version, which version we have to go. Then based on that, we have to review the kernel release note and so download the latest kernel from service marketplace. So we have to download the latest kernel from the service marketplace here. Then so move the all the kernels means the mainly SAP exe, then SAP exe DB. So one is the DB independent, second one is the DB dependent file here. So move to move the all the kernels to the application server level apps server level. We have to move it here. Then once you move to the application server level, stop stop the stop SAP. You have to stop the SAP. Then so maybe take the existing kernel backup. Take existing kernel backup. You have to take the existing kernel backup. Once done it, then replace the new kernels, whatever the new kernels you have copied, right? So here, whatever replace the new kernels into so existing existing exe directories here. Existing exe directory means there is a sysexe folder, global directory. One folder is enough to replace it here. So exe locations are available in the three locations. Sysexe, that is fine here. Then the next one, replace the new kernel into existing directory. Then start SAP. Then perform the perform the validations here. Perform the validations. Validations means health checks and everything. We can perform it here, right? So and extract it using SAP car command. Using SAP car command, you have to extract it here. Those are the 10 steps we have to perform in our systems here. Okay, so let me download it. Okay, that is downloaded, I think. So we'll do the Linux level, how to perform it in the Linux level. Okay, so I'm logging to the Linux level here. So in the Linux level, so this time we do in the Linux level. Why? Because Windows level, it's very simple, copy and paste. But here we have to do some steps here, some commands, some steps we have to execute it here. So in the Linux level, first of all, let's see what is the system which is up and running here. So here we have the NJP. So just to use the end displace work here. So we have the 1300 is the kernel, 753 and 1300 is the patch level which is currently exist in our system here, right? So if you execute the displace work, or if you go to the SAP level, we go to the SAP level SM51. So if you go to the SAP level SM51, you will come to know the current patch level here. If you go to the SM51, so here you can see the release information. You can see the 753. So the patch level, we can see it here, 753. What is the patch level? You can see it here. So two ways. One is the displace work. Second one is the SM51 in the above systems. There is a release note. There we can check this information. Release note, we can check this information here, right? So what we are planning to do, we are planning to upgrade from 1300 patch level 1300 to patch level 1400. We are planning to upgrade it here. So for this one, in the service marketplace, we need to download the related patches. We have to download it. Kernel means SAP.EXE. SAP.EXE.db, we have to download it, right? So in that case, we need to check the current kernel version, align the target version, whatever the latest is there, we need to download it. Then we have to release note. That is one of the important point here. We have to review the release note always here. So why? Because in the kernel note contains some valuable information. Means why? Because kernel always depend on your SAP systems. Kernel always depend upon your SAP version here, whether your SAP version will support or not. So what is the current SAP version will support it. So based on that, we need to do some assessment here. We have to perform some assessment here. So that's why kernel always is depend on your your kernel always will depend on your version, your SAP version here, right? So that we have to check it out here. So same, we have to go to the service marketplace there. So software downloads and everything. Then K for kernel. Same way how we download these softwares. Same way we have to download all the patches and everything. We have to download it here. So normally how we download the patches, we will go to the support pack and patches by alphabetical index. So then here K for kernel. So then 64-bit, right? So we have 753 currently. But if you want to directly go to the 754, we can go it. But thing is here, some operating systems or some SAP systems won't support the 754 kernel version. And then in that case, we need to check it's a mandatory point. So why? Because sir, I want to 753, I will directly go to the 793 latest is there. I will go to the 793 mains. So you cannot go ahead like this here. Why? Because SAP systems won't start. Sir, how can I know which system, which versions it will start and everything means? That's why I asked you to please read the release note. Release note. In the release note, it contains all the information, which one will support, which one will not support. It contains all the related informations. So that's why we need to read the release note here. We need to read the release note informations and everything. We have to read it here, right? So that is the purpose only. So I not mentioned simply here. Just why? Because we have to review the kernel release mid too. So for the allocations purpose to support or not SAP. Sometimes what happens, you do the wrong kernel upgrade, your SAP it won't start. SAP system it won't start because of your this kernel will support only certain SAP versions only. So SAP versions means SAP basis version. So that one we need to check. Suppose if you go to the 753, suppose if you are going to upgrade Linux, right? Linux 11. So then you need to download the Linux files. Linux files, you have to download it, right? See here, if you go to the content information, there you will get the release note. One release note, you will get it out here. See here what is the kernel release? 753. So here Unicode version. What is the database table? Whatever the database table, S version. So here your SAP version 740, 750, 751, 752, 769. Only these versions this kernel will support. But what is our SAP version here? If you go to the system status, you will come to know the your SAP basis version 750, release version 750. So then this will support 750. Then this will 750 is there here. So this kernel will support, right? So this is a Linux version will support it here. So like this, we need to review the release node. We need to check the release nodes and everything here. So in the marketplace, whatever the kernel release, you need to select it. So check why, because kernel always depend on the your SAP versions. So we have to make sure this has to be checked here. Okay. So then if it depends upon the operating system, you need to download the depends upon the operating system. You need to download the related SAP.EXE and SAP.EXE DB. SAP.EXE, then SAP.EXE. One is the DB dependent. Second one is the your DB independent files. You need to download it here. SAP.EXE, SAP.EXE DB files we have to download from the service marketplace, right? So we have to download it. So what is our kernel? 1300. 753, 1300, 1400 is available here. So what is this database? HANA database and Linux operating system, right? So I think here we have already, so SAP, I think we have the 1400 files already available here. 1400, the files already available here. You can see the files already available. SAP.EXE, SAP.EXE DB files already available here, right? So then what we have to do here, so once you download the files, we have downloaded SAP.EXE, SAP.EXE DB, then we have to extract the files here, right? So using the SAPCAR command -xvf, first we have to extract the SAP.EXE DB, then we need to, after that, operating system permission denied. So we need to, with the root user, we will do the extraction. So once you download it, move to the application server level. So then say -xvf and file name. So just to extract it using the SAPCAR command, right? So then SAP.EXE DB. Next one is the SAP.EXE. So DB here, DB 1400 kernel we are upgrading here, right? So that is also done. So SAP.EXE, SAP.EXE DB. So these kernel files we have updated, right? These kernel files we have updated. So means extracted first of all. So once you extract these files here, so and so you need to see here, you have to extract the kernel, download the latest kernel, move the application files and extract using the SAP car command, then stop the SAP system, take the existing kernel backup and replace the new kernel and start SAP, right? These are the things we have to perform it here, right? So now what we have to do now? So we need to stop the SAP system here, right? So just switch to the SID ADM, stop SAP. It is a Windows MMC, right click and stop. If it is the Linux, just stop SAP all. So that your SAP system will be stopped status here. See, SAP system is getting stopped status here, right? It is stopped status. Your SAP system is stopped status here, right? So then where is your, first of all, we need to cd.exe means this is the kernel current directory. This is a kernel exe directory here. usr sap sad means or sap mmt exe. Then you see this is the kernel directory, current kernel directory, global location here, global location here, right? So sysexe or so then this is the location, exact location of the kernel directory here, right? So this is the exact directory of the kernel here, right? So SAD, EXE, UC, this is the kernel directory, EXE directories here. Then replace it here. Just copy. Then you have the right. So here we have the kernel. Then cp-rf Linux level. The command is cp-rf star. Then in this location we need to copy the all the kernels. So copied. So Windows level, we need to right click, copy all, paste into the target directory. That is the what we have to do it. But Linux level, it's very simple. Just to go to the folder. So CP means copy, -rf, recursive force, star, all the file which is there in the here. Then copy to the target location here. Then once you've done it here, then switch to the njp adm here. Then SAP, start SAP, check the displace work here, displace work command, then it will give you the results like 13 and 1400. Previously, what is the version here? 40, previously, our kernel version is the 1300, right? Just if you see the scroll up and see, yeah, 1300. So 753, 753. So 1300 here, 753 and 1300 we have details here. Now let me move this to the 754, 1400 here, 754 and 1400 we have the details here. See 1300 to 1400, the patch level we have updated here, right? Then start the SAP, perform the health checks here. But one thing is here for Linux level, so when you are going with the, so we need to execute the, in the, once you copy the kernel before starting the SAP, so there is a dot slash SAP root.sh script, then SID. So this is a script we have to execute it here. It will bind the in the permissions and everything. We have to execute it here. SAP root.sh script here. It's a very important. Before replace the kernel directory, then one of the important point is here. So execute SAP root.sh script. So we have to execute that root.sh script. We have to execute it here. This is what we have to do it. See here, execute root. So it will set the correct permissions, correct groups and everything. Then we can start the SAP after that. Start SAP command. Okay, this is what we have to do it in our systems here. So SAP level, we can, if you go to the SM51 release information, here we can find out the what is the current kernel version, right? OS level, displace work command will execute it here. Windows level, you don't need to execute this SAP root dot. Only Linux level we have to, this step is important here, right? So, so in the Windows level, it's very simple. Replacing, copy and replace, that is fine. Copy the new kernels and replace it on the existing exe directory. We have to replace it. So that's it. This is the kernel upgrade procedure. Okay, got it? So this is very simple actually, kernel upgrade. But the people, every interview, the people definitely it will ask it. Why? Because this require the downtime. Means you are stopping the SAP system, then starting the SAP system. In between, you are replacing the new kernel into existing EX. Carefully, we have to perform this kernel upgrade. Otherwise, what will happen? If we don't perform the kernel upgrade properly, our SAP systems won't start. SAP systems, it won't start it here. That is the one thing here. SAP systems, it won't start it. So that is the one thing here, right? So that is the download the latest kernel, move the SAP, stop SAP, start SAP, and we have to replace it on the, all those things are available, right? So these are the steps for the kernel upgrade on the Linux operating systems. Got it? Any questions? So Windows also, it's very simple. Windows also, what just we have to right click, copy and paste. That's it. Copy the kernels and Windows, right? Folder to folder copy. Simple. So go to the here, then copy the kernels, then place it on the new kernel directory. We can place it here. So that is a very simple. Windows level is very simple. So just to go to here, suppose like you want to copy sys exe, copy these files. So copy these files, new files where it is, look, check that one and replace it under this folder. Then it will work. It will work. So that is what we have to do it in the systems. Copy and replace. Okay. So this is the our kernel upgrade procedure here. Okay. So any questions, anyone? It's clear. So we can also easily downgrade to the previous level, means 1300 to we can. So we have taken the backup, right? Same kernel, you can replace it on the old kernel, you can replace it on the here in this location. Again, the kernel will back to the 1300 from 1400 patch level to 1300. Very simple. Okay. So clear, right? Any questions? Anyone?
If we have the more than one application server and means one database and more than one application server, so
Same
need to
location.
install
Yeah. So
each and every application server separately.
not required, not required. So if you are the more than application servers are there, just that's why you have to do it in the so global location, which is the global exe location. USR SAP sys exe means that is the mount point of the SAP MMT exe. So if you do it in the global location, all application servers will sync the files from global location to the local location. So one application server, if you do it in the global location, it will applicable, the new kernels will be applies to all the remaining hundreds of application servers automatically. You don't need to do it one by one. Only global level you have to do it.
Okay, on database also it is means
Database
upgraded.
is no database. Yeah, database files also will be updated, but not the database will be upgraded. Only DB
Oh,
kernel files will be updated in the kernel directory. Kernel is only for SAP, not the database
yes,
level.
yes.
But DB related files also we have to download it. DB kernel is like a one of the interface, it is mediator between as a operating system and SAP application server here to this kernel directory. So in case of kernel directory is not exist, then you cannot start the SAP system. Stop the SAP system. Work process will not work. Even SAP will not start. So a lot of things will happen. Means kernels are the executable files at the operating system level. It will act as a interface between your operating system and SAP application server. So if the kernels are up to date, your SAP system also will run very fast. It will not throw any dumps. So it will run smoothly. Suppose kernel is the old version, some functionalities will not work, some functionalities will work, some functionalities old versions. So like that, you may face the some issues. Okay, so that is the kernel. So let's talk about the